Hello, it's me, the Geeky Libertarian. Welcome to the next episode of 15-Minute Game Show Reviews. Well, it's been 8 months since my last review, but a lot has happened in the time since then. And one of my New Year's resolutions is to make more videos. I felt this would be the best time to make one. Anyway, let's get down to business. I'll talk about the history of the show, go over the gameplay, and talk about how I would revive it if I had the opportunity.
From the spectacular Trump Castle in world-famous Atlantic City, it's time to play television's non-stop game of knowledge, Trump Card. And now, here's the star of Trump Card, Jimmy Cephalo.
Thank you for joining us today for Trump Card. We're here at the fabulous Trump Castle in Atlantic City, where competition is king. We have 3 contestants who are ready to challenge each other today for over $15,000 in cash and a chance to win $100,000 in the Trump Card Championship. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, our host here at Trump Castle, Mr. Donald Trump.
Thank you, Jimmy. It's great to be on the same team as you.
Your eyes do not deceive you. That is indeed Donald Trump, the billionaire who is currently President of the United States. Oi Gewalt. Anyway, 25 years before he announced his presidential run, the former host of The Apprentice put his name on this short-lived but challenging quizzer with elements of bingo. Trump Card was actually based on the popular British game show Bob's Full House, which ran for 6 years in England and was hosted by the late Bob Monkhouse. Trump Card is one of 6 game shows that debuted in syndication during the 1990-91 season, and just like the rest, none of them were renewed for a second season, although Trump Card did get a full season before ending. It debuted on September 10, 1990, and ran until May or June of 1991, with reruns airing until September 6th. The show was taped at the Trump Castle in Atlantic City, New Jersey, which is now known as the Golden Nugget. The host was Jimmy Cephalo. Born in Pennsylvania, Jimmy is best known for his career in football, which he began in high school. From 1974 to 77, Jimmy played as a wide receiver for the Penn State Nittany Lions, playing in the 1975 Cotton Bowl and 1976 Gator Bowl. He also earned a bachelor's in journalism. In 1978, Jimmy was drafted by the Miami Dolphins of the NFL, where he helped lead them to Super Bowls 17 and 19. His highlights with the Dolphins included playing in the 1982 Epic in Miami and catching Dan Marino's pass that broke the record for most touchdown passes in a season. In 1985, Jimmy became a color commentator for the NFL on NBC, which he did for 4 years. He was also a correspondent for The Today Show, a sports anchor for NBC News at Sunrise, and co-hosted the network's coverage of the 1988 Summer Olympics. Currently, Jimmy is the play-by-play man and voice of the Miami Dolphins on WIOD radio in Miami, and also does regular sports analysis for the NFL Network. The host was Debbie Massey, who apparently hasn't done much since the show ended. The announcer was Chuck Riley. Chuck was a voiceover artist doing hundreds of movie trailers, TV commercials, network promos, and children's audiobooks. He was also a radio DJ in Oklahoma City, Winnipeg, Cleveland, Indianapolis, Toronto, Fargo, North Dakota, New York, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles. He did promos for both CBS and MS Broadcasting. At the time of his death in 2007, he was doing voiceovers for KABC TV in Los Angeles. Now let's get to gameplay. 3 contestants competed. Each one had a 15-square bingo card, and the goal was to fill in all the squares. In round 1, the goal was to be the first to fill in the corners of the card. There were 4 categories with 4 questions apiece. If a contestant buzzed in with a correct answer, they filled in one of the corners. However, any time a player answered incorrectly, they would be locked out and not allowed to answer the next question. The first player to fill in all 4 corners won $750, theirs to keep regardless of the game's outcome. At the beginning of round 2, Debbie gave each contestant a trump card, which could be used in the final 2 rounds. A player could use their trump card after giving a correct answer and block one of their opponent's progress. When their card was played, the contestant who was trumped would have their card covered by a large T. In order to remove the trump from their podium, that player had to buzz in and answer a question correctly. The goal for round 2 was to be the first to fill in the center line of the card. And there were 4 new categories, this time with 5 questions apiece, and the first to fill in the center line won $1,500. Again, theirs to keep regardless of the outcome. Round 3 was the flash round. There were no categories, and Jimmy would just ask general knowledge questions in a rapid-fire manner. The goal of this final round was to fill in the remaining spaces on the card. The first player to do that, or whoever was ahead and not trumped when time was called, won $3,000 and the game, and went on to the bonus round for $10,000. The object of the bonus round was to form a line of 5 on a 25-space board, either across, up and down, or diagonally. Before the round began, the winner chose a card from a deck of 25 cards, and that number was then filled on the board. If the players still had their trump card from the front game, they were allowed to draw 2 cards. Once the free spaces were filled in, the champion had 45 seconds, which started when they chose a square. Jimmy asked a question, and if they answered correctly, the square turned gold. If they were wrong or passed, it turned black, and the player had to work around it. If they successfully formed a line of 5 gold squares, they won $10,000. Otherwise, they won nothing extra. And although Trump Card only had 1 season, it still managed to have a tournament of champions, where the 21 bonus round winners came back and competed for the right to play for a grand prize of $100,000. Unfortunately, the big prize was not won. And that's how Trump Card was played. Now we grade it. I really don't have a lot to say about this show. It was unique in that it was a quiz show that combined elements of bingo. The front game was decent, and the trump card was a good way for a player who is behind to catch up. However, I have to deduct points because the bonus round has been done on several other game shows, notably the Super Jeopardy round from the 1978 revival of Jeopardy, the bonus round on Catchphrase, or even the Gold Run bonus round from Blockbusters. That being said, Trump Card was not a bad show. It also had a decent host in Jimmy Cephalo. Jimmy's past TV experience actually helped him tremendously, and I could tell he enjoyed what he was doing. It's too bad he didn't do other game shows afterwards. Trump Card was a good but underrated show that should have lasted longer than it did, and it gets a solid B. Now the part where I'd talk about how I'd revive the show if given a chance. One thing I'd do is call the show Lucky Numbers, and I'd include more elements of Bob's Full House. Of course, I'd increase the prize money because, inflation. There would still be 3 contestants, and being the first to fill in the 4 corners won $1,000. Filling in the center line won $1,500. Covering the whole card would be worth $2,500 for a grand total of $5,000. The bonus round would be a little different. I would not use the same bonus round. I would actually use the one from Bob's Full House, and the goal would be to find 3 gold crowns. Doing so won the contestant $20,000. The host of this version could be Wink Martindale, and the announcer could be Dean Goss. Hey, a High Rollers reunion. That does it for another game show review. I'll be back next month with another review of a classic game show. Until then, I'm the Geeky Libertarian. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at LibertyGeek83. Peace out, y'all.